A bora wind is a strong, sharp, gusty wind that moves at high speed even at low temperatures. Basically, this wind comes from the mountaintops and descends closer to reservoirs, lakes, and seas and can last for several days. Actually, due to the fact that the mountains separate the areas and the wind bora is formed, the difference between the temperature of the wind and the temperature formed over the water body causes the wind to move even stronger. Shipwrecks often occur because of these winds. The areas of frequently repeated bora are distinguished by the absence of forest massifs. In some places, even the bareness of vegetation, as if after an avalanche or rockfall. In addition to constant winds, periodic or local winds are also common on Earth. Their appearance is due to the peculiarities of the relief of a certain area and uneven heating of the Earth's surface. Monsoons are the most famous among them. Monsoons are variable winds that change their direction twice a year. In summer, monsoons blow from the sea to the land. In winter, on the contrary. This happens due to the fact that on the mainland in the warm season, the air quickly heats up, expands, and rises, forming a low pressure area. And at this time, the air over the ocean warms up more slowly, so it turns out that the wind starts blowing on land, bringing moist air and rain. In winter, everything happens on the contrary. The ocean cools more slowly. A low pressure area forms on it, which meets with a high pressure area coming from the mainland, so the monsoon coming from the ocean will be cold and dry. The zone of action of the monsoons is the zone of the tropics and subtropics. Monsoons are formed in the area of significant temperature fluctuations over the oceans and continents. The Asian monsoon is the most developed circulation system. As a result of the action of the summer monsoon, the southern and southeastern coast of Eurasia receives a large amount of precipitation in some places, up to 3,000 millimeters per year. Sokovy is a hot and dry wind that blows most often in plain, steppe, and desert areas. Usually, Sokovy formed in those areas where cold air masses pass over a strongly heated part of the Earth's surface. It can last for several days, and due to significantly high temperatures with low humidity in the area, it dries the air, dries out the soil, which has a bad effect on the fertility of the land. And with prolonged Sokovys, a complete drought occurs. Air masses of Sokovy are formed over the deserts of Asia Minor, Africa, and South Kazakhstan, and can spread to the following regions: the Caspian region, south of Western Siberia region, and Kazakhstan. In different parts of the world, Sokovy have their own names. In Egypt, Khamsin; in Algeria, Sirocco; and in Central Asia, Samum. A sea breeze is a light wind on the shores of seas, large lakes, and rivers. The reason for the occurrence of sea breezes is that water has a higher heat capacity, so it takes a long time to heat up and cool down. Sea breezes have a diurnal periodicity. During the day, they blow from the water surface to land, and at night, vice versa. During the day, the air over the land quickly warms up and rises, and it is replaced by colder air from the sea. A sea breeze begins to blow, which lowers the temperature of the air on the coast and also moistens the air. After sunset, land begins to cool faster than water. At this time, the shore or night breeze begins to form. It is weak and without vertical movement. At night, the water retains heat longer, and the warm air over the water rises and is replaced by cooler air from land. In the early morning and evening, the surface temperatures of the sea and land equalize while there is no air movement. The wind subsides and the sea becomes calm. There is a brief lull when the direction of the breeze winds changes. They cover an air layer of hundreds of meters and penetrate deep into the land or sea for a few of tens of kilometers. Breezes are better expressed in cloudless, anticyclonic weather. Breezes are characteristic of western coasts in tropic latitudes, where heated continents are washed by the waters of cold currents. The force of the wind during a gust does not exceed 3 to 4 points. A foehn wind is a type of wind somewhat similar to bora wind. A foehn wind also moves from the mountains. It's a warm, light breeze. It occurs when air masses roll over mountains and roll down into valleys. Most often, such a wind prevails in mountainous areas, and thanks to the blowing of the foehn wind, snow melts, avalanches descend, and high evaporation of moisture occurs. A foehn wind is always a harbinger of rainy weather. Especially often, the foehn wind blow on the northern outskirts of the Alp or in their footholds. The foehn-type winds also occur in other places of the globe, over the southwestern Black Sea, in Kutaisi, Tashkent, Greenland, China, Japan, etc.